to another edition of the Tom Murphy Show. Tonight, I'm honored to have a pair of women who were honored at the At Home in a Sound Gala recently. They are two very longtime volunteers in Mamaroneck and Larchmont. And tonight, to have a discussion with us about what At Home in a Sound is and how you can participate, is Pat Hashey and Ellie Fredston.
Right. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for coming here tonight. Ellie, let me start with you. What kind of was the genesis of this? How did it come about?
Can we go all the way back to 2007?
I think we can.
That's when we started, and I think the genesis really was at the summit. And somebody was talking about aging in place and this new organization in Boston called Beacon Hill. And Lois Steinberg was there, and she was really the catalyst, and she got a group of us together. There were 6 or 8 of us in the beginning, and we had focus groups. We thought that the idea of aging in place and staying in our own homes, the time had come. We talked to all the clergy, we talked to the politicians, we talked to community leaders to find out what was needed, what they thought of this idea, and to try not to have a redundant service. We wanted to do something that was really needed in the community.
So if you're watching at home, if you're over 65 and you live in the Larchmont, Mamaroneck,
It's actually
Rhinebeck
60.
area. Over, oh, 60?
60.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I'm getting perilously close.
Well, would you like to join?
Oh, wait, I'm actually eligible, but
Nobody
thank you.
ever feels they're old enough.
If you're over 60 and you live in Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Rhinebeck, you're eligible to join.
Yes.
And what is needed, though, is volunteers to help.
Volunteers.
And could you talk
Everything that, I'll piggyback onto what Ellie said.
Sure.
Everything that Ellie speaks of, the services, all require volunteers. I mean, all of us, everyone involved, except for our executive director, are volunteers. So every program that Ellie provides, or any service we provide, needs a volunteer to back that up. An example, every program, service, anything that we have, whether it be luncheon, breakfast at the diner, museum trips, all require transportation if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that we have a very active membership, so many of our members do not need transportation, but whether it be 5, 6, 10, we do provide that transportation. In order to do that, we need volunteers. The volunteers don't only have to have transportation that they need to do, but we have every mailing that goes up, any paperclip that needs to be pasted, any staple, anything that we need to do is done by a volunteer. So a volunteer
Phone
can
calls,
come
maybe
forth
you do.
and say, you know what, I like to work in the office. Can I do that? Or can I make phone calls for you? You know, I'd like to come in just to do some mailings. Not all our volunteers are retirees. Some of them are part-time workers. I was saying to you that we have a nanny now. She's a young woman that has free time during the day, and she came forward and said, I'd like to help you out. So now she's become a driver. But again, it's not only the driving. We need volunteers for any service that we provide.
Would this be something that some of the service groups from the high schools, or for the kids who are in CCD or in studying for their bar mitzvahs or bat mitzvahs that have to do some service work, could they get involved in this?
Well, they
other than
could
driving,
survive, obviously, in the office, but it's interesting you'd say about seniors. We do have an intergenerational tech workshop that we do. We just did one this past
kids
Saturday.
are wonderful.
And we have
helping out
kids
the
from the
seniors
high
with-
school. They
Right.
come.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, the seniors are far more advanced to the network than I am.
I need a repeat.
They come in with their iPhones, iPads, anything. They work on a PC in the office if they need to get to be comfortable with it. And we have the kids come in from the high school, freshmen on up, that feel comfortable with technology, and then they work with the seniors. It's a great program.
It is. I have a couple of friends I worked with who are now retired, and they were like, they weren't really into technology other than the technology that we work with. But as they got older and their grandchildren were all over the place,
Right.
they started using
They need to
computers
do it.
to keep in touch with
Right.
their loved ones.
Right.
Because, 'cause-
Video chat or whatever, even texting.
right, like kids that my kids' age, some of the kids who work, that's their whole lives.
Right.
What I find amazing, I grew up in a family that was very newspaper oriented. We got all the papers every day,
Right.
and I've never seen any of my kids pick up a paper. They get all their information over
Very
the internet.
different.
That's why their
Different world.
SATs are so hard.
Yes.
But volunteers are, other than the programs that we provide, we need a volunteer to back up these programs. And we can't have enough volunteers. I mean, I was just saying at the gala last week, Ellie and I both spoke, and we were honored to be honored at the gala. And, Ellie discussed more of the organization, and what I talked about was that, just in the 4 months that we've we've had this year, January, April, we provided 1,400 rides over 5,000 miles. And we've got volunteers that will do rides 3 times a day. And I'll take men and women that are, it's like I said, semi-retired, and they'll say, I can't always be there for you, but use me as a backup. And I got to tell you, these people are great. We call them up, we need your help, and they're there. They're there for us. But also the mailings, anything we do in the office, some of them will partake in the Mahjong. And what we do also is we do have volunteer recognition. I'm running a breakfast next month for the volunteers to come in, have a bagel,
Yeah.
have a schmear,
Get to know each
have
other.
a cup of coffee. That's why we do it. Last year I had a cocktail party at my home, and I'm doing it again in September. And then we have a wonderful party at the end of the year, a holiday party that's a member volunteer party. That's a lot of fun when the members get to meet the volunteers and the volunteers meet the members. Because remember, we all don't get to have a chance to meet each other, but a lot of our members and volunteers become very close, and our volunteers become very attached to some of our
You
members.
were at our
Gala.
gala,
Gala, yeah.
and I think you felt the
A
warmth
lovely event, yeah.
at the dinner. And the thing that interested me the most is that there was a really mix in ages. It wasn't just my age that was there. It was a multi-age group, and I think there was a real buzz in the room. And I think there was the most important thing to me is that there's a sense of community, and that's really what it's all about. And we feel that At Home on the Sound has established our roots now, and we're flourishing and we're growing, and we're very happy about it.
And I imagine you get a lot of members from the Senior Center, the Largemont Mamaroneck Senior Center on Post Road. Do a lot of people access?
Well, there is a reciprocity insofar as that if you belong to the Senior Center, like my mom belongs to the Senior Center,
Right.
that fee is waived by the membership of At Home on the
Oh.
Sound. So there'll still be events there, but we're not, Marie Gallagher, we have a real good communication.
Who does an
with Marie
excellent
Gallagher.
job.
She's
Fabulous.
terrific.
Yeah, she's a
But it's a
wonderful person.
different type of service, so we don't step on
We
Marie
compliment- we
Gallagher's.
compliment each
each
other.
Oh,
other.
no, I didn't- what I meant was I guess that there's kind of a cross-pollination. A lot of your
Yes.
members go to
Yes,
the Senior
they
Center.
do.
Yes, I didn't mean
Absolutely.
that it was a competition at all.
No, not at all, which
yeah.
is nice, and it's still our community.
Yes.
One of the things that the volunteers and I always speak about was that, we all volunteer for various organizations. This organization provides you the opportunity to volunteer for your own community. So you get to meet people. Ellie and I did not know each other before At Home on the Sound, and I came aboard 4 years ago. And I've had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful men and women that I probably would have not crossed paths other than the fact that we're part of this organization, which is great.
And it's so important generationally to have, like, a lot of us grew up and we were close to, grandparents and aunts and uncles, and we all lived kind of in the same
Yeah.
proximity.
Yeah.
Very different now.
It was very different now, but my children's mother's parents were from Mamaroneck, and it was so nice to have them around. I mean, they're gone now, God rest their souls, but it was so nice to have them around when my kids were little, because it was just, it's good for everybody. It's good for the grandparents, it's good for the grandkids.
We're also a support group. We have a member who has been in a nursing home environment and is coming home. And somebody has visited her almost every
Right.
day from our organization. And there is a case manager taking care of the whole arrangements.
Okay.
But there's a backup.
Right.
And it's very nice because her children aren't here.
Yes.
They're way away, and they can't get here often, so it's really worked out well for her.
She
to
actually
have
came
us.
to the gala.
Oh, that's nice.
She was escorted by her aide.
In a
First time
wheelchair.
she was out in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
And she said she wouldn't have missed this. And she's one
That
of our
was the
great.
second time she
Oh,
was
right.
out. She came to
All right.
one of our
Oh, that's
programs
right.
before that.
But
Okay.
she's
and
our,
that was the first
she's
time.
our
It was
pep
great.
rally. I mean, this woman.
And she's going to write the history
she's a
Oh,
writer.
of At Home on the Sound?
Of the Home on
She's
the
actually
Sound.
a
So
writer.
people really find their niche.
Okay.
And it's wonderful because we can really use her to her best ability, and she's just delighted to be doing
Right.
this. It's
Right, she's
given
doing
her
something that's useful
absolutely.
in her talents. Yeah, no, that's really great. It must be hard for a lot of folks, like this past winter, if you're a senior and your mobility is limited. So one of the things I saw on your website that you folks do is you give regular calls to folks, and that could be very reassuring for the person, first to have contact, and second just to make sure they're all right, but also for that person's family, just to know that somebody else in proximity is checking up on them. So if they're
Well, we
far
often
away.
have the children of our members call. That's how sometimes we get a member. The
Okay.
children will be interested. They're worried about their parent who is here, who is alone,
Yeah.
or parents and who are in a home, and
Right.
they feel that they would like to have some services available for them. And they call us, and then their parents become members, or they give their parents the
They give their
membership,
parents
the
which is very
Right.
nice.
You know, and there's been so many. There's been so many good things happen over the years come out of the summit. I mean, the Hispanic Resource Center, your organization. It's just,
Yeah.
it's amazing what has
Well,
happened there.
it's a community
By people
thing.
sharing ideas.
It's a community thing, and I think people want to learn about the communities that they live in, and they change. Whether it's the school board and the vote for the budget,
Right.
and they want to know what's happening, or the Tappan Zee Bridge, or whatever it is. People are interested. They want to be kept up to date.
Right.
Now, one of the services you provide or you help folks access is if they need help with their home care. Not home care for the patient, but home care. You know, you change a light bulb,
Absolutely.
We have-
fix a
Again,
faucet.
that requires volunteers, and we
Yes.
do have some gentlemen. We do have a woman that helps with gardening, and we have a gentleman that have gone in. You know, the things that we don't think about: getting the air conditionings out of the window, getting the
Yes.
boxes out to get recycled.
Recycled.
Anything like this, we do have members that volunteers that were willing to go to members' homes and do this, and it's such a great service. And again, we have what's called preferred providers, so that a member can call us and say, I need a roofer, I need a plumber, I need an electrician, but I don't want to go and just open up a book and
Sure.
try to guess who I should get. So we'll give them
We vetted.
vetted or even recommendations, but we vet a lot of, so any of these.
Which is very important because sometimes the unscrupulous contractors will come in and take advantage of a senior.
Absolutely. So if there is a vendor that's out there now listening to this that would like to get involved, they should call the office and say, you know, I'd like to be a preferred provider. How do we get vetted? And this way you can use my name in the surrounding area. It's again, it's a community. We should help each other.
Yes.
It's neighbor to neighbor, which we grew up with neighbor to neighbor, and it's really difficult now.
Yes.
Families aren't close enough together, and members need to reach out. I had a volunteer that made sure that one of our members got to her physical therapy. So the night before he went over there and literally took all the ice off her steps.
Wow.
And and we did not initiate this. He initiated it himself.
He took the initiative.
This
and-
winter has
yeah.
been.
They
Oh, it's a
become
horrible
friends. They become
have become
really,
friends.
it's not just a service that they
No,
provide.
we're family,
Making relationships. Yes.
like a family.
Especially the drivers, I
Yeah.
think, have made contact with the people they drive. And it's very important to
Yeah.
both people.
Yes.
to connect.
And let's just talk about the actual way people can contact you. You have a website, which is
We have a website which is athomeonthesound.org. People can call our office at any time and they will get whatever answers they want. We give different events to try to have people learn about us and to meet other people. Or they can come to one of our Wednesday programs. It's open to the whole community. It's not just
Okay.
members. And we've done this purposely because we really want to service the whole community on that. And we've had such luck getting really good speakers so that we'd like the community to enjoy that too.
that's terrific. And so you don't have to be a member, but that's obviously a way where you gain membership.
Right,
People come
right.
and
Well,
see
it's
if
a
this is
matter of
good
goodwill. It's
organization
goodwill,
fun.
and we meet people, and also somebody can bring a friend, which is very nice.
Yes.
And I've met your mother, which has been a lot of fun. She's terrific.
Your mother
and-
still lives in the area locally?
Yes.
91. You'll see her walking up and down the village.
And she
I'm
lives
sure you
by
know.
she lives by herself.
Okay, she's a member?
Yes.
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 Well, she just better be, or we would hound her.
She's a member.
And
How many members do you have now?
we have 148 members. It's a moving target. Obviously, people move away. They move into a nursing home or a
Okay.
retirement home if they need it. But it's pretty well stabilized at 148. And we're really very proud of that because we started with such a small number. And we really didn't start until 2010. That was our
Oh, so
first
that's
year.
huge,
So
in a couple
we're
of years.
new, 4 years. And I think people are beginning to recognize our name and hopefully to realize the services that we provide for an individual. And I think the thing that's important is that they are individualized services. It's not just a a pat thing that we do.
Right.
If
Right.
we find you need something, we'll do our best to see
Right.
that you get it. We can't always do it, but we really try very hard.